Hello and welcome to the Deep Three Podcast. This is your host, Matt, joined as always by Kevin, John, and Sam. How's it going, boys?
The real question is, how are you doing?
It's rough.
Made it out. Yeah.
I've been saying this for years now to my wife, and she has somehow finally moved me to her side of the taking naps. I have never liked naps. I have always hated them because I'm the kind of person that wakes up and wonders where the hell I am whenever I take a nap. And that's just what happened. I woke up 3 hours later. So don't smoke weed before doing podcasts. Why don't we get into this, boys? We have buy or sell trades and all-star. Got a set lineup right now, so why don't we start from the very beginning? This first one's actually pretty interesting, mainly because I was actually a little bit surprised that this player was replacing KD in the All-Star. Sabonis replacing Kevin Durant in All-Star. Are we buying or selling this, boys? John, I'll start with you.
It's so tough because I even talked last week, whenever it was that we talked about All-Star. I said it was hard for me to leave him off the list because he's been great. He's averaging 21, about 6 assists, about 11 rebounds. He's great. So I buy in that he's a deserving all-star. I just wonder, I'm a big Bam guy. I love Bam Adebayo, and I kind of wish that he could have had this spot. I think that he has been a kind of really, really good this year. He's really grown a lot this year. He's developed his offensive game significantly where he can actually consistently make mid-range jumpers, which is kind of huge for them. So I would have loved to see Bam, but I really can't begrudge Sabonis here. So I'll buy it because it's not like he doesn't deserve it, but I would have preferred Bam, I think.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And I think I'd have to agree with you on that one. I would have loved to see Bam, especially because he was an all-star last year. So that would have been cool to see him in it again. But it's if anybody is going to be Bam, I guess Sabonis is a really solid player. Sam?
I can buy. I'm okay with buying on this. I think from last episode, I think we were very comfortable with what the selections were. Honestly, it had probably been one or two quote unquote snubs. And if anything, it's on the Western side. Yeah. And for me, the biggest thing is why is Jaylen Brown not starting? Because KD's not playing, Jason Tatum gets the starting role. And I just think he hasn't been as great compared to Jaylen Brown. I know there's a role situation at that point, but I'm not mad with Sabonis. I think it's well deserved. I think it's good representation for a team that's always at the middle of the road. I know we talked about that many times. And for Bam, I think it just came down to his overall skill set, and I think that's just something that takes more time to evolve with. So if I had to do between it'd honestly be a coin flip between either or. I wouldn't have been mad for either player. So I'll buy on this.
I was going to say, I think a coin flip is the best way to summarize it. That's because either way, we're going to enjoy it. Kevin?
Yeah, I think I agree with all you guys. I'm buying. I think Sabonis statistically might be a little bit better than Bam if you're just looking at the stats, but I think Bam would be more fun to watch. Sabonis is such a fundamental player in a good way, and that's why he's so good and why he got it, I think. But Bam is a much more you never know what you're going to get kind of player. And I like that. And so I think that would be fun to watch, but it's not a wrong decision to choose Sabonis over him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that you would, pick Sabonis over Bam as much as you hate Bam Adebayo. We've heard it so many times.
I want to ask a quick tangent to this too, because obviously Trae Young did not get selected for the All-Star team this year. The game is in Atlanta. Should they have just fucking thrown him a bone? Do you think it would have been? Do you think he kind of still got the great numbers? The team is bad. Should Trae have just been given this spot for an All-Star game that really is just clearly a cash grab? May as well have the hometown kid in the game. What do you guys think?
No. No, it's fine. He doesn't need to be in it. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. I'm done with Trey.
Disrespect in this household. Zach LaVine didn't make it when he was in Chicago, so there's no Chicago Bulls player. And so, I mean, if that's the card at that point, then Bradley Beal shouldn't even be a starter. So, I mean, I don't know what we're talking about anymore, but who knows at that point. But, I love Trey. Trey's pretty cool guy, I think he should be more entertaining. Like, I get the, respect out of, hey, you got the all-star, rep to it. But I just think in terms of entertainment, it'd be between Trey or Bam for me, just because I just find them more entertaining than Sabonis, who's more of an orthodox player, who's actually probably gonna have a longer lifespan in the NBA, just because the way he plays is just smarter, in my opinion. But all stars about having fun, and I just don't think Sabonis is a fun guy. He's like Tim Duncan, he's just not a fun guy. You don't want Tim Duncan in the All-Star game because it's just
yeah.
Oof. Big oof. Next one we have, and this one's a fun one. I like this one. This is KD only got to keep the captain spot because they didn't want Giannis drafting again. I think this is a very clear buy. I wouldn't want Giannis drafting in a million years. Sam, where are you with that?
I think I'll buy, but I think we should understand that Kevin Durant's a very egotistical guy. He doesn't show it, but it's very makes it very prevalent in some cases that hey, I'm still the guy, so don't forget about that. I'm the reason the league is still really good and really fun. But yeah, I don't want Giannis drafting, but I think I'm curious to think that if Giannis isn't in now, there's no Middleton, there's no Siakam. Do you think he can mess up? Is there a way to still mess up? I think he's going to draft Bam first off because they got the same agent. He'll find a way to get Bam. That's the thing. He'll find a way to get Bam into this at some point. But yeah, I'll buy into this because who doesn't want Kevin Durant and LeBron drafting on TNT?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just who is Giannis's loyalty at that point? Who is he loyal to? Who's the most loyal to? Because that's who he would draft first.
Chaos.
So, good, yeah. So I don't really have faith in that, but I feel you, Kevin.
I think KD got the captain spot because he's a god tier player. He is the top 0.1% of people in the 0.1% in the NBA. He is so good, and he is consistently so good coming back off injury, and we're so used to it by now. We're so desensitized to it that we're just oh yeah, it's just KD being KD. But he's putting in points that no one in their right mind should be able to put up coming off of the injury that he did. And we just aren't giving him enough respect. And I think I'm kind of selling because I think it's disrespectful to him to say he only got the captain spot because they didn't want Giannis drafting again.
I think there is no shade. There's absolutely no shade.
I know.
The KD,
I know it's
my answer. I totally get what you're saying. There was no shade to KD in that. But you're right. I feel that. John.
Well, here's what I mean by this statement, right? Because Kevin Durant got the captain spot because he got the most votes, so that's why he got it. But he's not playing in the All-Star game. He's not. Jason Tatum's replacing him in the lineup, So I figured maybe they would have the second place vote getter take that spot because he's not playing, but he gets to keep it. And I have a feeling it's because I'm guessing the second place vote getter was Giannis again. And I can, in fairness, maybe Giannis wouldn't be terrible this year because Chris Middleton isn't eligible to be chosen. So that could change everything for him as a drafter. But yeah, I have a feeling they were we just can't let that guy get near this shit again. Kevin Durant is big ratings, like Sam said, him and LeBron drafting against each other's fun. I'm curious to see. I don't remember how the draft works. I think they have to pick from the starters first, but I could be wrong. I wonder, I wonder if it's not that way, if he can pick from anyone. I wonder if he picks Kyrie or James Harden first.
It's gonna happen. And
I feel I wonder if whichever one of those that he picks second is gonna be mad at him. if he's gonna be like, yeah, I guess I gotta go with James here first. If Kyrie's gonna be like mega salty about it,
I feel like in that scenario, you have to pick Kyrie first, just because
he's the star.
Yeah, like Harden can at least push his ego aside for like 30 seconds and be like, "All right, he's just gonna pick me next. I'm good." If you did that to Kyrie, I don't think Kyrie would be able to push his ego aside and be like, it's all good. He would just take it personally right away.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, and I took that personally.
Yeah.
Look, I kind of think, like, what if somehow Kyrie was going to be like the replacement for KD? Like, I don't think I would like that more. I don't think I would like that anymore if Kyrie
was drafted.
Yeah, I don't think I would like that anymore. We're going to go to the next one, which is just a very clear attack on me. So let's get this over with. The Celtics will fuck up the trade exception by not getting someone on par with Miles Turner and Doug McDermott, who they could have had instead. Yeah, that was a clear attack on me. I feel violated for that. How dare you all? But yes. But the answer is yes. I think they're gonna fuck this up. There's no way around it. They have been absolutely horrendous this year, and man, I would have much rather had Miles Turner on my team. I really like even Doug McDermott. I would also have been fine with that because he could have been a much better like 6-man player than anybody who is on the bench right now. John, I'll start with you first.
Yeah, and I'll be quick because Sam has a lot of thoughts about the Celtics.
Yeah.
So I'll just say that I do buy this. I think they're going to blow it and get like Andre Drummond or some shit, and it's going to be a disaster. They might not even do anything at the deadline. They might try to save it for the offseason. I don't know. But either way, I think they're going to blow it. And it sucks because Miles Turner would have been, one, exactly what they need, and then also Doug McDermott would have been honestly exactly what they need because their wings are trash after Jalen and Jason Tatum. So I think that they basically completely blew it. I'd be shocked if they could make this work out better than what that would have been. So I'm buying that they're going to blow it. In fact, I think they already have. So I'll just pass it along.
Yeah, that's a fair take. Kevin?
Oh, okay. You got out for a second. Sorry. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with John 100%. I think they basically already blew their big chance to make something really good. And I think we got to say rest in peace to the OG mobster Danny Ainge with his insane deals. I think that era is past and gone now, and I think we're moving on to senile Danny Ainge of making the worst deals imaginable. Yeah, I'm buying on this real hard.
All right. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new segment of the chopping block. Celtics are on the chopping block. So why don't you take it away and just ruin my entire life?
Look, I'm doing you a favor, Matt, by putting you out of your misery. Okay? I'm helping you so much because the two people that are on the chopping block are, of course, Danny Ainge, who've been riding the coattails of one title by having 3 superstar talents, and yet has always consistently failed year after year. He is no different than John Elway with the Broncos. And that's the only reference I get because I live here now, and it's still sad every day because I have to deal with that. But Danny Ainge is an ignorant fool who had so many opportunities to make an actual move, and he still didn't do this. I don't get it. I don't understand because he's made significant moves year after year, but the one time where he actually has a good chance to make a serious move, he's like, it's not worth it. Miles Turner's washed. Miles Turner is leading in blocks in the NBA. What are we talking about? Your team doesn't play defense. You have no assist game. Your leading assist is Marcus Smart. He doesn't even play the goddamn game anymore at 6 assists. That is embarrassing because your 2 potential superstar talents of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been dealt a bad hand because they're not giving him any support to actually be true scorers. Kemba Walker is an absolute failure now in the NBA. They made a statement from the last game with Pacers when they won by 6. They said Kemba Walker was the reason we came back and won. He willed this team together. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Are you serious? Kemba Walker is leading this team together? Ridiculous. Let's move on. Danny Ainge, you heard from me last week. Brad Stevens, what are we doing here? I know we're not being given the talent, but you've had the same talent for 7 years, and what have we gotten? You dealt with Isaiah Thomas, who was probably the last time you were actually having fun, because that's when I thought the Boston Celtics were actually having fun at that point. It's utter embarrassment because Semi Ojeleye still plays the game, and he's a 6'6" power forward. It's small ball, but the guy doesn't do anything. What does he do? He does absolutely nothing. He's just mini fridge Zion. That he's basically knockoff Zion at that point. Except can't do shit to be in the NBA. You have the meme of a player of Taco Fall who's not getting any minutes. He's played 8 games, averaged 7 minutes, and has probably been in washed minutes at that point when they're down by 25. He's 7'3", just alley-oop it every time. Is it that hard to run that kind of play? Chris Paul does that with any trash player, and he can make anyone good. He made DeAndre Jordan a superstar talent. And I think Taco Fall can actually be actually really relevant for the team because you're playing 6'9" people at the center. Like, what are we doing? The centers of the East are dominant. Bam Adebayo, Joel Embiid. I mean, Kevin Durant can still play better defense and will still run up the scoreboard against this team. And it's just an utter embarrassment. He has no idea what he's doing. And for that reason, Ryan Saunders should be the head coach.
I like what you said about Taco Fall, so I have mad respect for you about that. I appreciate that. When the Bulls are in the playoffs ahead of the Celtics, that's when you know that there's a problem.
I gotta add something real quick. In the last 12 games, they've won 4 games, and they've lost to Atlanta, Detroit, Washington, Atlanta again, and then 3 straight: New Orleans, Dallas. Like, what are we doing? Like, you have to be winning these games. You can't be costing them this. This team is supposed to be destined for the Eastern Conference Finals every year, and right now it's actually taking a step back and a step back and a step back. I will not be surprised if the next 2 years, if nothing happens, these potential superstar players want out. Because Boston culture, sadly, I think there's some repertoire behind them that no one wants to be here for a reason. But hey, good luck. Hey, you had Ray Allen. Good times, man.
Oh man, do I miss Ray Allen? That was the chopping block with Sam. Why don't we get on to the next one? Kyle Lowry will be a 76er this season. This is very interesting, and I'm buying it. I hope that he goes to a different team, but he was originally from Philly, so it doesn't look bad. Kevin, what's your take?
I don't know. I'm torn on this one. I am lightly selling just because I don't. We'll see if it happens by the end of the season. If he moves off or not. Or by the trade deadline even, because I think he wants to kind of stick it out with the Raptors for a little bit longer. And the Raptors they're still a 4th seed in the East right now, so they're gonna make the playoffs very likely. They're not the worst team. So I don't know. I get wanting to go to the Sixers because Philly, it's your hometown. Their Sixers are a really good team this year. But I don't know. I think I find there's not enough motive for him to jump to the 76ers when the Raptors are still a good team. If the Raptors were not in the playoff run at all right now, then I would be yeah, I totally get it. That makes a lot of sense. Go to a winning team. But the Raptors are not a bad team. They were just in the finals a couple of years ago. I don't know.
Okay, so let me really quickly, let me just ask you this then. Who wins, the Sixers or the Raptors? Just straight up.
Sixers.
Yeah, so I think that makes it a good enough reason to leave the Raptors for the Sixers, in my opinion. But I see what you mean. So you're kind of banking on loyalty at this point.
Yeah,
right?
a little bit.
Okay, that's fair. John?
I'm a dreamer, so I'm gonna buy. I think that this could be one of the most fun, thickest teams in the league, with Kyle Lowry and Joel Embiid. I wonder. I mean, look, Daryl Morey is the head of their basketball operations. That man is probably still pissed that he didn't get James Harden. Probably wants to make a move. Probably sees that this team is a legitimate title contender this year. and is thinking, how can I make sure that we fulfill that potential? And I think the answer is someone like Kyle Lowry, a legitimate point guard who's a good defender and a very reliable offensive player, proven leader, hometown kid. Like, I think that this would be kind of a perfect scenario. And it kind of makes, like, yes, the Raptors are a 4th seed right now, but it's the Eastern Conference, and they're only like 3 games away from being out of the playoffs entirely. Like, it's just such a mess, like a jumbled mess around that part of the conference that, like, if the Raptors decide it is time to kick off a rebuild for some reason, this would be a great time to do it. Do it while you can get good value for someone like Kyle Lowry. It would be its own show of loyalty to let him move somewhere where he has a legitimate chance of winning. So I would love to see this happen, frankly. I don't know if it does, but I'm going to buy because I think it would be sick.
Really quickly, John, you did mention the amount of talent in return that you could get. What would you get for Kyle Lowry if he went to the Sixers? Who do you think the Sixers would be willing to trade?
I bet that the Sixers, so...
Like Thibault?
Yeah, you probably have to include Thibault. I wonder if they could do it with, like, Tobias Harris, But I also think that, like, I don't think that would happen. I have a feeling it would be, like, I know that the Raptors need bigs. I could see someone like Dwight Howard being involved in the deal, and then picks. You get what you can for someone like Kyle Lowry, who has a really, really expensive contract for a pretty old point guard. And he's still good. It's just like it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
They probably, it would be like a package of players, or it would be Tobias Harris and picks. Like, maybe not many picks, maybe like a pick, but I think it's worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you can get your hands on good players, that's what you Sam, are you buying this take or selling?
Gentlemen, what country do we live in?
I believe it is Canada.
Mistake. You failed. You're no longer a citizen now because of that. We are in America. Where was our Constitution signed? Philadelphia. Where was McDonald's found?
What are we right now?
America. Our boy, Kyle Mickey D's, Kevinino Mickey D's Lowry. It's time to bring him home, all right? And home is not Tampa, okay? Home is definitely not Tampa. It's time to bring him back to West Philadelphia, where he was born and raised, all right? I am buying this team destined to be a real finals contender because I think we've seen Kyle Lowry mature. I remember the first time when they went against LeBron, he actually wanted to talk to Tyronn Lue like during the series to see how he can improve. And it's like, hey, that's not how it works. You're playing against me. I can't give you tips on how to beat us. But since then, he's improved. He's gotten better. And I really appreciate the way he's played the game. I think it's from a playmaking standpoint, that's what you need. And I think that's what Philly needs. I think that's how you can utilize Joel Embiid more with the pick and roll, because I think pick and roll with Joel Embiid will get you instant dubs any day. Even better, I think, with Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons rolling into the paint is actually very difficult to stop. He's very fast, and he can slash and get buckets from him. And I think that's the perfect fit. So I'm easy buying for America, gentlemen.
For America. This is America's ass. All right. I like it. Next one. And we're going to be going a little bit quicker from now. Victor Oladipo gets moved at the deadline. He did just turn down a 2-year deal of $45.2 million extension as of very, very, very recently, as recent as you can get. I think this was a pretty obvious take, in my opinion. He's already expressed that he didn't really want to be on the team and that he has no interest in staying with the team. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to buy on that one. Jeez, I'm just buying everything today. My God, stonks must be super, super cheap. Sam, I'll start with you first. What's your take?
I mean, is there really much value for Victor Oladipo? I just feel like the market's very not needed. I think the teams that might be attracted would be like a Dallas Mavericks, who just needs another person that can take some of the weight off of Luka Doncic. You're not seeing much of the offensive success. But the thing is, the big problem with Dallas is just defense. It's one person and they can't really do everything, sadly. And Victor Oladipo, I just don't see him being much value. I think it'd be fun having him in like maybe send him back to Orlando, where it all started. Orlando just needs some sort of something. They just need something at this point, and I think Victor Oladipo could do this. But I'm gonna sell. I don't think anyone wants Victor Oladipo at this moment. I just think it's just not much value in my eyes.
Okay, John.
I'm buying. I think this was the plan all along. Here's the thing. I think that obviously Victor wants to go to Miami, and Miami, at least like around that time, towards the beginning of the year, it was kind of like flirting with the idea of getting Victor Oladipo. I think there's mutual interest there. But here's the thing. I don't think that they really have to trade Victor anywhere. They could send him anywhere they want, really. So it doesn't have to be Miami. I think that they're going to be like, look, he's obviously not going to re-sign here. He just turned down an extension, the most money we could give him. This just happened with James Harden to us. Let's just move him while we can actually get some assets, whatever those might be, to help with our rebuild. I bet that if you traded Victor Oladipo, you could get, I'll say it. I think you could get like Tyler Hero.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. Yeah, I think you could get like Tyler Hero for Victor Oladipo. I don't think that Tyler Hero's fine. I don't know. I think that we all got too excited about Tyler Hero. I think that he's like a good player. So I think 100%. I think he's gonna get traded at the deadline.
All right, Kevin.
I agree with John. I think it was always kind of the plan to kind of use Oladipo to get other pieces. But that being said, I think I do kind of agree with Sam too that like I don't know what they're gonna get for Oladipo, and I think not a whole lot of teams want him, so maybe they can get Hero, but I think that's unlikely. But I think they're gonna want to move him before a deadline, so I think I'm buying on this take still. I think that was the plan from the start, and they offered him a low 2-year deal, assuming he was going to turn it down anyway, and he did. And so now they kind of have an excuse to especially get him out of there before deadline. So yeah, I'm buying.
That's fair. Picking up the pace, we have Andre Drummond to the Raptors, Mavericks, Boston. More of a pick one, from what I can tell. John, are you the one that wrote that question?
Yeah, you can feel free to buy one and sell the others.
I like that.
Or okay. Sell them all if you want.
I like that. Andre Drummond, I'm going to say I think like we said at the top of the episode, I think the Celtics going to fuck up and get him. So I'll buy Boston grabbing him. Sam?
I would honestly say sell to all of them, but like going to your point, I think Boston will do it because they just know they're not going to get anything else. And I think it's just, in a way, quote unquote, like a free asset because you made the trade for Gordon, who's having a phenomenal season, man. The man is rejuvenated, nice tan over there. But I'm going to sell because it'd be a mistake if any team took him.
Totally fair. That's totally fair. And that kind of sucks for Andre Drummond too, because like he got showed the fuck up by Jared Allen, man.
Jared Allen looks incredible.
He's so good. John, we'll go to you next.
So the thing is, I think it's actually maybe most likely that he goes to the Mavericks, which I think would be the worst. I would hate that. I feel that way. I feel about that how you feel about him going to Boston. It would make me deeply sad. So I'm going to buy that he goes to the Raptors and cut the difference. I'm going to, just like for personal reasons, for mental health reasons, I'm going to say this man will be in Tampa than Toronto, which is fine. Whatever. You could be. The Raptors are kind of. They had their championship and now they're kind of like it flatlining. So
yeah, they're sizzling out of it.
They need a big man. Go ahead.
Yeah, this just in, I'm picking up something from the host. He's saying that he wants to switch his answer to the Raptors to get the out of Boston. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. Kevin.
You can do whatever you want to try and sway him from not going to Boston, but Danny Ainge has got it all planned out with that trade exception. He wants him. I think there's no way between those teams. I think Boston is definitely number one, for better or worse. Very likely worse. I think they're gonna be salty that they didn't get Miles Turner and be like, well, Andre Drummond is a big man. He plays center. And then get him, even though it won't work out. So yeah, I'm buying on Boston and selling on the others.
What's this? This coming in, the host of the Deep Three podcast actually just bought a ton of sage that he will be flying over Boston and releasing in a minute now. What a wild day, boys. What a wild day. Next question. Zion will be an all-star game MVP. Sell. Sam?
I want to buy it, but you know who's going to ruin it for everyone? It's just Kyrie. Kyrie just ruins a lot of I'm sorry. Matt, we went off on Kyrie on our last episode. I recommend listening because
I will.
That man is on something. I mean, if you see some of his faces, he's been smoking something. I'm a little concerned. Maybe it's the good sage over there.
Yeah.
But I want to buy, but I know Kyrie's going to mess it up. Kyrie's just going to be top 30. I don't care about anything else. So with that, I have to sadly sell.
Yeah, I'm for anything. I'm up for anything that has Kyrie hatred going towards it. John?
I want to buy this because if the league wants to make this game fun, it should literally just be like a dunk line of Zion Williamson the entire game. Like, because, we'll talk about it in a second, but dunk contest doesn't look great. Zion was literally crafted in a lab to be in the All-Star game where no one plays defense, and it's just about doing the weirdest, craziest shit. It'll come down to he is a reserve, so he might not get a lot of minutes, but if the league is smart, they're going to make them play Zion as much as they can because, frankly, it's going to be fun. No one's going to stop him because it's the All-Star game. No one's going to try to get in his way and get injured by Zion's fucking tank-like body rolling down the fucking rim. I want Zion to be the MVP because that means that we get to see Zion do crazy shit for a whole game.
I feel that. I like that a lot. Kevin?
Again, I want to buy. I really want to buy, and I hope what John is saying comes true, but I feel like someone will tell Zion before the game, and they'll be like, hey, man, don't be flashy. Don't be looking cool. Because if one thing goes wrong, that man is injured for a long time. If he falls down after a dunk on his ankle, even slightly off, and that means the Pelicans lose every game when he's gone. So I think I would be surprised if he goes as hard with dunking and flashy things like that as we all want to see. I would love to see that, but I don't think it's actually going to happen. So I'm selling.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. Do you think that Zion will be wearing a life alert where if he falls down, he'll just immediately have access to it?
I hope so.
We're just going to skip to this one. Should they cancel the dunk contest? Yeah, they probably should. And they probably should cancel the All-Star game in general. It shouldn't be a thing, but here we are.
Yeah.
And the fact that I have not seen anything about the dunk contest. Is Zion in the dunk contest?
No.
Well, that's immediately a reason to cancel it. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, so here's our
gold.
Here's our dunk contest lineup. It is Obi Toppin, which is fine. That's cool. He's a bouncy guy. Anthony Simons and Cassius Stanley, some real name brands filling out the lineup this year.
I have never heard of those two guys. Obviously, I've heard of Obi Toppin, but how the fuck do you not have Zion in there? Even I think even LaMelo could be interesting. I like of all the random people to throw in there, like why do you make this your dunk contest? It makes no sense. I'm yes, they should cancel this fucking thing. Kevin, I'll go with you next.
Yeah. Why is Anthony Edwards not in this dunk contest? Like, that's all I want to see is Anthony Edwards go flying in and take down a rim or something. Because some of those dunks that he's done during the season, I mean, he's a questionable player otherwise, but like sometimes that it looks like he's literally going to take down the rim and any player that's below him. And it's awesome. And the fact that 2 of these 3 people that are in the contest are relatively unknown, why would anyone want to watch that? I don't get it.
Yeah, this might be the worst dunk contest like thing that I've seen ever. John, I'm going to you next.
Yeah, this is really get Blake Griffin. Yes. See if he give him a 10 if he even can dunk a ball. No, this is bad. It should obviously not happen. This is Matt. I think you're exactly right that none of this should be happening. But obviously, this dunk contest shouldn't be happening because this is terrible. It's not the full lineup yet, so maybe Anthony Edwards does join. I really think that he should because this would be just good for his brand. Basically, like they don't get a lot of attention in Minnesota. And he's just known as that dunker. This is awful, though. This is abysmal. It's one of the worst dunk contest lineups, like you said, that we've seen. Zion will never be in a dunk contest. I think that's just dreaming too high. He's too. It's too scary health wise. And same with Ja Morant, who would be the other person I'd love to see in one. I don't know what they're gonna do to make this worth it. I would be shocked if they can. So this just shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I think they need to know when to cut their losses at this point. I'm like, how good.
I think it's a unanimous sell. Here's the dream lineup I'll give you, and I think we would all agree to this: Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, Ja Morant, and Zion Williamson. The dream dunk contest. What more could I ask? Because I don't think anyone could actually lose this contest because everyone will do free throw dunks at this point. Yeah. But I think we're getting close. We're not there yet. But the next chopping block could be Adam Silver. I'm putting it out there.
Ooh, interesting. And that's very fair. That's very fair that he should be on there for all of this nonsense of the All-Star. Yeah, I mean, like, look, last thing I'll say about this, Zach LaVine, All-Star MVP, let's go. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. This has been Buy or Sell with an All-Star edition and trade edition. You guys can follow us on Instagram, on Twitter at the D3Pod. And please, you guys can also like, share, subscribe on YouTube, as well as follow us on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That was my shameless plug of the day. Bringing that back after a long time of not using shameless plugs. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. Peace.
Address me as yes, chef.